Over the last 20 years, Dollywood has emerged as one of the best, well-rounded theme parks in the world. With how much expansion that has taken place in the past, what does the future look like for this beautiful park that's nestled in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains? You're going to love these 10 bold Dollywood predictions that will happen over the next 10 years, including a few #1 potential coasters coming to the park. Bold prediction number 10, Lightning Rod becomes a full-length hybrid coaster. As much as I loved Lightning Rod the way it was when it first opened, I would take a reliable Lightning Rod that might not be as good as it once was over a closed Lightning Rod. It appears, and I do not want to jinx Dollywood, so knock on wood, that the park has finally figured out how to operate their best coaster with very little downtime. In 2021, Dollywood and RMC found it best to replace 57% of the original track with iBox track, officially making Lightning Rod classified as a hybrid coaster and not a wooden coaster anymore. And since there's only 47% of wood track left, which has to be a maintenance nightmare for the park every morning, I predict that we will see the rest of the layout converted, since we know how reliable the coaster is now, and most importantly, how much smoother it is. Before I share my next bold prediction with you, if you're planning a trip to Dollywood or know someone who is, then you do not want to miss my Dollywood must-know tips video, because you're going to learn how to have the best day at Dollywood with a bunch of tips and tricks. And if you're also wondering where is the best place to stay near Dollywood, then you definitely need to watch this video that can be found on my other channel, Brandon's Top Recommended. Bold prediction number 9. We will not see the park expand up near the train loop. This has been a rumor for quite some time now, that we could see the park expanded up this direction and potentially building a second train station for the Dollywood Express. I, for one, do not want this to happen, and here is why. Take a look at how much land Dollywood owns in this direction. There really is no need to expand up towards the train loop unless the park plans on running 2 trains at all times and using the Dollywood Express as a transportation ride instead of a luxury train ride through the mountains. Bold prediction number 8, no major ride or roller coaster removals. Normally, over the course of 10 years, we would see a park remove a major ride and or roller coaster. But in this case, I think Dollywood is safe from that, and there will be no major rides or roller coasters getting removed. Which leads me into bold prediction number 7, and that is, I think we're going to see a major Blazing Fury refurb. It's rumored that Silver Dollar City is having RMC build them a new coaster / attraction that will be very much like their current Fire in the Hole, basically replacing an older attraction with a much newer one, which, if you don't know, is basically the same attraction as Blazing Fury. In regards to Dollywood's underrated attraction, I think it'll see a major refurb and return to its original glory, thrilling riders of all ages for decades to come. Though I will say, if Dollywood would remove this attraction and building, it would free up a lot of room, and they could make this pathway much wider, which would be a huge benefit, because on busy days, this area gets clustered. Bold prediction number 6. It's no secret that Dollywood is planning a new coaster to come to the park next year. And I predict that it could be a mock, multi-launch that'll be a lot more thrilling than we all anticipate. And if you're curious about what to expect from this new multi-launch coaster, then you have to check out the Escape Designs YouTube channel for the full POV. Not only will this new coaster become the 3rd roller coaster at the park to offer a launch, I also think it could become the 2nd longest one in the park behind Lightning Rod when it opens. While not offering any inversions, this launch coaster will feature some great near misses, interactions with the terrain, and some really good pops of airtime. Bold prediction number 5, Wildwood Grove expansion that will feature a new dark ride. As you see, there is clearly a plan to expand the path beyond the new multi-launch coaster. Since the park cleared all this land, that tells me their plan is to develop all of it. And over the last 10 years or so, Dollywood has been rumored to add a new dark ride. And I think we have to keep our eye on this location for that project. And in all honesty, a dark ride at Dollywood almost makes too much sense, especially because the park stays open in November and December for Smoky Mountain Christmas. So on those cold nights when the coasters cannot operate, the dark ride will become a great filler. Bold prediction number 4, County Fair revamp. This area, in my opinion, is by far the area that needs the most love from Dollywood. I've always dreamed about a new roller coaster becoming the staple attraction in this area. But Dollywood only owns the land that you see here, so that could bring some challenges in fitting in a major coaster in this area. So I predict that we will see all the blacktop get removed and replaced to fit the look of the rest of the park, and have a new anchor ride added to this area, which you're going to learn about more here in a few minutes. I would also suspect that we would see some of the older buildings in this area get torn down to make way for newer ones. County Fair is actually a great area, and if it would just get some love, then it would become just as good as the rest of the park. This next bold prediction might be a little surprising, but after all, these are bold predictions. Bold prediction number 3, Dollywood opens an alpine coaster. These attractions have been popping up everywhere over the last decade, and it's great to see. Dollywood has the terrain and currently doesn't offer an upcharge attraction anymore. So they could easily charge $10 a rider, which by the way is much cheaper than outside the park, and make some additional revenue, all while offering a brand new attraction. Alpine coasters are a ton of fun, and I would love to see the backstory that Dollywood would have for this type of an attraction. Bold prediction number 2, new thrill rides. There are 2 locations within the current park layout that could benefit from a major flat ride. Just imagine seeing a Zamperla Giga Discovery being located in the County Fair area. What I love about adding a high-intensity thrill ride to this section is it will spread out the thrill seeker crowd even more, especially since the Dizzy Disc, which is a Zamperla Disco, is the only real thrill ride in the current County Fair area. Heading over to the Wilderness Pass area of the park, to the location where the River Battle attraction used to be located. This area currently is a plaza that is used for special events, and I predict that in the future it will be home to a new Star Flyer, possibly over 300 feet tall. This type of ride really needs to be at Dollywood, and not only because they're a lot of fun, but because of the views the riders would get of the park and the Smoky Mountains. I am actually quite shocked that Dollywood has not added a Star Flyer yet. This area is also one of the higher parts of the park, making those views from atop even better. And now, it's time for my number 1 Dollywood bold prediction that will happen over the next 10 years. We will see Dollywood add not 1, but 2 major thrill coasters to the park. I predict that the first one will be located where the old retired Mountain Sidewinder attraction used to be located. I think come 2025, with a slight chance of it coming in 2026, we will see a new mock terrain hypercoaster. This would become the tallest, fastest, longest, and largest roller coaster to ever open at Dollywood. The ride would cover this area and would feature at least 2 different inversions, a very twisted 90-degree first drop, and some of the best airtime in the southeast. Why I think this will be a mock project is because the last coaster Dollywood has added that feature inversions was the 2012 Wild Eagle. And we know mock hypers can feature inversions, and it's clear Dollywood lacks a hypercoaster. Also, because we saw mock rides build Silver Dollar City's Time Traveler and Dollywood's 2023 coaster, just like I predicted. This area of the park definitely could benefit from a roller coaster, and this will bring a lot more foot traffic to the Barnstormer thrill ride. And if you want to see the official POV and flyby of this new hypercoaster, be sure to become a Theme Park Predictions subscriber and give this video a like. Once this video gets 1,000 likes, I will drop the POV. Once the hyper opens, I think we'll be looking at this area for yet another expansion off of the Wildwood Grove area. Dollywood owns all of this land, and I predict that we could see the park work with Intamin for this next project. Something along the lines of Velocicoaster, but more terrain focused and in the woods, of course. Dollywood has the room, the ambition, and most importantly, the money to create a roller coaster that could bring Dollywood's coaster lineup into the conversation of best in the world. 10 bold predictions that all have a good chance of happening. What are your thoughts on my bold predictions for Dollywood, and what are yours? Be sure to let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.